You know it, you've probably used it. It's that little white, blue, or yellow packet sitting next to the sugar. In our culture, it comes in just about every shape and size, and some of you might even be sipping on something sweetened by it right now. But if you think the story of how a simple mistake led to a global phenomenon is simple, you're not totally wrong, but also not totally right. Because the artificial sweetener is a curious concoction that blends bad lab hygiene, a bit of accidental scientific discovery, and a dash of marketing genius into one sweet and controversial thing we know today. So get ready, because we're about to uncover the strange, sweet, and storied journey of artificial sweeteners. Before we go all the way back, let's look at what we have now. At its core, a modern artificial sweetener is a sugar substitute, a chemical compound designed to provide an intensely sweet taste with few or no calories. Its function is simple: to trick our taste buds into sensing sweetness without the sugar. It's a fixture in our kitchens and a staple of our health-conscious culture. But the sweetener of today is a world away from where it started. To understand how we got here, we have to go back to its grimy industrial roots. Artificial sweeteners don't have ancient roots, but they do have industrial ones. Before it became a household item, the first artificial sweetener was an unwanted byproduct of research on something completely different: coal tar. In 1879, at Johns Hopkins University, a chemist named Konstantin Fallberg was working late experimenting with coal tar derivatives, trying to find new uses for the black, sticky substance. His work wasn't for food or pleasure, but for industrial innovation. He was looking for new dyes, antiseptics, anything useful from this industrial waste. He certainly wasn't looking for something to put in his food. This brings us to the moment that changed everything: the happy accident. Fallberg left the lab and went home for dinner. When he bit into a simple bread roll, he was shocked. It was intensely, unnaturally sweet. He asked his wife if she had done something to the bread, but she hadn't. Then it hit him. The sweetness wasn't in the bread, it was on his hands. He realized a chemical from the lab must have contaminated his fingers. In a move that would horrify any modern lab safety officer, he rushed back to his workbench and began tasting the contents of his beakers and experiments. He tasted his way through his work until he found the source, a compound called benzoic sulfonide. He would later name it saccharin. It was the first commercial artificial sweetener born not from careful design, but from a moment of bad hygiene.
No, Saccharin. Introducing new Diet 7-Up, now with 100% NutraSweet and no saccharin.
Saccharin, as we know it, owes a lot to two things: medicine and war. At first, Fallberg marketed his discovery as an antiseptic, but its real potential was as a sugar substitute, especially for diabetics who couldn't process sugar. But its popularity absolutely exploded during the massive sugar shortages of World War I and World War II. With sugar being strictly rationed, saccharin became a crucial way for people on the home front to sweeten their food and drink. It was a patriotic duty to save sugar for the troops, and saccharin was the solution. Companies like Monsanto began mass producing it, and the little sweet tablet became a fixture in kitchens across America and Europe. The commercial formula was set. But as saccharin went mainstream, something fundamental changed. In the 1970s, studies emerged linking extremely high doses of saccharin to bladder cancer in laboratory rats. This sparked the saccharin scare, a massive public health controversy. The FDA moved to ban it, but public outcry from diabetics and the diet industry was so strong that they compromised. Instead, all saccharin-containing products were required to carry a stark warning label. Use of this product may be hazardous to your health. This product contains saccharin, which has been determined to cause cancer in laboratory animals. This scare forced manufacturers to find new alternatives. This push led directly to the development of sweeteners like aspartame, marketed as Equal and NutraSweet, and later Sucralose, known as Splenda. This shift paved the way for the biggest boom of all, diet soda. With aspartame approved in the early 1980s, companies could finally create zero-calorie versions of their flagship drinks, and icons like Diet Coke were born, completely changing our drinking habits forever. Interestingly, our obsession with diet drinks is a distinctly North American phenomenon. In many other countries, the taste of aspartame is downright puzzling, with some describing it as having a chemical or metallic aftertaste. But just as industrial versions took over, a new counter-movement began. In response to the ongoing scientific and public debates about the safety of these artificial chemicals, consumers in the 2000s and 2010s began demanding more natural options. This led to a modern renaissance in sweeteners. Companies began extracting sweet compounds from plants, leading to the rise of stevia from the South American stevia plant and monk fruit from a Southeast Asian gourd. They sought to bring back sweetness without sugar, minus the controversy of chemicals synthesized in a lab. Thanks to this movement, we are now living in a golden age of choice, from mass-produced classics to plant-based artisanal creations. So, was the birth of the multi-billion-dollar diet industry really just a sweet mistake? To put it simply, yes. What began as an accidental discovery in a coal tar experiment transformed into a wartime necessity, a controversial chemical, and finally, the fuel for a global diet craze. The name artificial sweetener is a direct nod to its laboratory origins, not a field or farm. So there you have it, the strange, sweet, and storied journey of artificial sweeteners. It's not quite what it started as, but it has over a century of science behind it, a history forged by accident and war, and a place in our culture that still sparks debate and curiosity today. It reminds us that even the simplest things, that little packet by the coffee pot, can have surprisingly deep and complicated roots. What do you think? Are you a fan of artificial sweeteners, or do you stick to sugar or the natural alternatives? What other simple things have a history you'd like us to explore? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss our next story.